Okay, so what I did was I just took the very specific objective that we came up with together and typed it in on the professional development plan. So I'll just reread that. Rachel will conduct an interview with 3 family parents in her program using the same 5 pre-selected questions from Asking Questions within 3 weeks of the modeling activity in order to learn more about how to help parents share life's goals for their child.
Sounds awesome.
Okay? I think it's an awesome goal too. So then I did change the date, for today to finishing the coaching on topic and the modeling brief. And then we will also eventually today talk about some dates for the modeling, behavior rehearsal, and live coaching.
All right.
Then I also noted in the very, very back, let's see. So what I did was I highlighted in yellow because it really helps me with the colors and all. So based on our conversation on February 10th, revisiting above comment, more conversation about which questions to use would be helpful for practicing skill with 2 or 3 families to learn the skill this year. And so you did choose 5 questions. Rachel can decide on this number as well as will she use real parents or acting parents, and you decided that you would use a parent who is also a teacher for one, and then 2 real parents. Is that still what you'd like to do? Okay. Implementation of the skill can start next year. In addition, in reference to setting dates, allowing more turnaround time, and then you can finish reading that. And then from March 4th, hopefully the camera's going to work well today. And let's see. Oh, also, I thought it was great that you recognized that you needed some time to kind of think about the first couple of skills, and then also having a chance to think about the 4 or 5 sentences that you might want to put together for the script, for the interview, to explain to the parents why you're doing the interview. So that really fit in with the solitary learning style, one of your learning styles. So, and did you have a chance to think about that?
I did, yes.
Oh, good.
And I've got my script.
Okay, perfect. All right, so then where we left off was number 3, brief explanation of using Asking Questions and how it can support the relationship between parent and teacher. And if you want to, you could read the script to me.
I have been learning how to use strategies from the Pyramid Plus approach, which I've given you a brief introduction of at teacher conferences. And my goal now is to learn ways to build stronger relationships with parents and hopefully help parents learn how to share what's important to them at the same time. And I'm hoping that this conversation will do that for the both of us.
Okay.
And then I have my follow-up is it okay if I continue now, ask you a few questions about insert child's name and your family?
Okay. And if you, do you feel like there might be some parents who you might need to reword the questions or change in any way, not the questions, but the explanation, or change in any way based on their culture, their language?
I don't think so. I think the only thing that I might is say, does that make sense to you?
Okay, perfect. So we had for number 2, brief explanation of using the interview and how it can support. Brief explanation of using the interview and how it can support the relationship between parents and yourself. And so you have the script.
And I really think that the explanation of how it's going to support will probably be more in step 4, the debrief. This is more just explanation of what I'm doing.
Okay.
And then I think more in the debrief will be, boy, I feel like I've learned a lot more about you, and that makes so much sense now why your child responds in this way, or wow, knowing that I will be able to use that in helping with this other goal we came up with, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that is the script. And so I guess we need to talk about what then would be called met, what would be considered met.
Mm-hmm. And I think from the script point of view, making sure that they know that it is pyramid plus approach. That's where my information is coming from. And that's kind of ulterior motive goals of kind of being that advocate for Pyramid Plus, and in the future, I'm hoping that this will be implemented along with a lot more sharing information about that throughout. So
Okay.
It'll meld with what we're doing as a center and everything as a whole.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it needs to include that it's a strategy from Pyramid Plus. I think it's important that it notes that it is intended to build a stronger relationship with families. So it's not just about developing a relationship with the kid, but I think the word family is important to be in there.
Okay, now is that in your script itself?
It is,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I guess I put parents. I probably should say families. I used the word parents. I'm glad you brought that up, though. I think I do need to change that word to families. And
so what I'm thinking is if you use the script each time the same way, it's going to cover these points.
Yes.
For being met, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my thinking.
So we know that it includes Pyramid Plus in the script. It includes intending to build
A relationship with families.
Okay. What else does it include?
And the other thing is that it's also intended to help parents learn how to share what's important to them. So that kind of parent advocacy piece of helping parents share information about their child.
Okay.
Or what we're calling the dreams and goals for their child, but
Okay.
helping parents share about their child.
And it also included a question to make sure they understood, or if they have any questions.
Yeah, maybe do you have any questions about that would be what I need to say at the end. Do you have any questions about that? Or
Okay.
what we're doing, do you have any?
just clarifying that they understand
Mm-hmm.
what you just shared with them.
Yeah.
And you could ask that in different ways, or does that make sense, or,
Yeah.
you know, do you have any questions? Does that
yeah,
make
number
sense?
4, clarifying.
Yeah. So that's 4 steps right there as being met. Now, if it's partially met, how many of those 4 would you consider partially met?
This is spiritual.
Like, for
I
instance,
think
if you...
2 out of 4 is going to be pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just trying to think, are any of those like so essential that I just feel like that really needs to be in there, but
Mhm.
I think 2 out of 4 will get the basic idea across.
And of course, the goal then is to completely meet each time. So it's like this grading system. Because the rubric is really new to me this year, I looked into it a little bit more because I wanted to understand it a little bit better myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I looked up the definition, it said, in education terminology, scoring rubric means a standard of performance for a defined population. So I understand that it's a tool that if used consistently, then you're going to get the same measurement each time. And especially if you're working with new teachers. So like in the future, if you're working with new teachers, this could be really helpful for them. And, or less experienced. It could be new teachers or it could be less experienced teachers. So the teachers really know what to expect and what to do. And if they do it consistently, it's more likely to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Each of those steps or each of those skills in the rubric, which then ultimately leads to that fidelity piece of it. So that, I don't know about you, but that helped me, just kind of reviewing that.
Mm-hmm.
And also I watched a really good video by a professor who did about a 20-minute video with educators on how to create a rubric and what does it do, you know, how does it work. And she used the analogy of the chocolate chip cookie. And if you're interested, I'll give you the link to that because it was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And it really helped me understand better too about how a rubric works. So,
Okay.
So we're gonna say it's only partially met if 2 out of the 4 of those
Mm-hmm.
steps are there. And then unmet,
Unmet would be 1 or none.
okay.
And I guess it would be 2 or 3 of the top ones. If only 2 or 3 are done out of the 4, it would be partially. Does that make sense? Because then if 3 are met, I would still call that a partial. I wouldn't call that a met.
I'm sorry, say that again.
For the partially met, we said 2 out of the 4.
Mhm.
I'm thinking it should be 2 or 3 out of the 4.
Sure, okay.
Yeah. Because all 4 need to be
Right.
in place for met. So then 2 or 3 would be partial, and 1 or none would be
Perfect.
unmet.
Okay, so 1 or none or less than 2.
Mm-hmm.
Less than 2, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then number 3 would be, okay, that was number 3, wasn't it? Which I wrote these, okay, that's fine. And, no, so then, can we move on to number 4?
Yeah, because 2 and 3 were the what am I doing, and then we had 3 as conducting the interview. I mean, the permission.
Okay.
Yeah. So really I had done 3 as Oh no, 3 is conducting the interview.
Mm-hmm.
I do have that, okay. So number 3 is the actual interview itself. Maybe we have them written in different
Oh, I
places.
see. Yes. No, I see what we did.
Maybe we
I
have
see
them
what
written
we
in different
did.
places. We kind of put the
Combined.
explanation and the permission together in one.
Yes, we combined 2 and 3. And so now 3 is taking the place of, number 3 is conducting the interview. And then now, do we want to possibly blend 3, the next 2, 3, and the next one? Like for instance, as you're conducting the interview, do you want to ask clarifying questions? Or do you want to do that as well as do a debrief?
I think what I want to do, and see my numbers are just, I think my numbers are different than your numbers, but I'm thinking that I would like to blend conducting the interview and questions into
Okay.
one step. But I think I would want to have the debrief as a separate step.
Okay. And would that be, that would be after question and answer opportunity for parents? So that would be after, so you're going to do conduct the interview and you're going to include answering questions. Does that
And
make
the
sense?
interview as we go along, so I don't have to have some separate, a separate specific interview time,
Okay.
or question time, sorry.
And then the debrief is also a time that they could ask more questions possibly,
Mm-hmm.
and also kind of summarizing. Is that what you mean with that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, kind of wanting to summarize and kind of wrap up and kind of help it, bring it to a close.
Okay. So you may have the numbers down a little clearer than I do.
I just have mine different.
Okay.
They are different because I just
Some of them are
squeezed my
combined.
squeezed my little ask permission in, so my conducting the interview ended up being on 3, and then I have 4 as a debrief, and then I was going to put questions on the end, but I do see that we can embed the questions just into the interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do the met, partially met, and unmet for,
Okay, so kind of
debrief?
steps
Is that where we're
for
at?
no, conducting the interview.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
I asked him my questions, yes.
Okay.
So
I got a step ahead.
for a MET, I would need to ask all 5 selected questions. And I would need to, I'm trying to think of the right word that I want to use, invite parent questions throughout. I don't know how to say that, but give parents opportunity to question throughout, invite parents, because I think it's more than a, at the beginning, if you have any questions, just stop me. I don't think people really do that.
Okay.
So it would need to be some intentional,
How about ask parents if they need any clarification? I mean, not that you're going to say it that way, but for number 2, ask if parents need.
Maybe I'll just even say opportunity for parent questions.
Yeah, that's even better.
Opportunity for parent questions. I want to put more than one opportunity for a MET.